coming to both of you on personal experiences, I could speak to this as well, but not to the level that both of you can. When you're in a final, and you are in these players' shoes of a major international competition. Lucho, you've been there. For context for our fans. Lucho, you've been there in the biggest game in club football of all, 2007 UEFA Champions League final. NRC, I know this is going to be a painful one, but the 2006 FA Cup final with good old West Ham. What is going through the mind and the mentality of these players? I mean, what is it like to be there with all that pressure on you? Lucho, we'll start with you.
Yeah, of course. But are you asking about the final 2000 to Nigel? I go.
I'm sorry.
I got the Champions League final.
I just want to give the context. The winning. Well, let's go take the winning
one.
First.
Okay, yeah. No, to be honest, it's a roller coaster of emotions. Because for this 2005 final in Istanbul, after what we happened during the game, that it was also a massive effort. You were drained mentally and physically, and you arrived to those penalties. I didn't have the chance, not because I didn't want it. I tried by everything asking Rafa Benitez to allow me to take a penalty, but he said that I was too tired. And I thought, I only have to run 6 meters to get the penalty. Come on, I can do that. But no, I couldn't have. But definitely, even not being involved in that is just such a stress, such a pressure that you feel. I was just getting nervous when I saw Didi Hamann grabbing the ball and start walking through the penalty spot. I cannot even imagine what it is to be there, to look around. We were shooting behind the goal of the AC Milan supporters. Wow. So the noise that they were making to try to pull you out of your focus and to get it out of your comfort zone is just amazing. And well, we were good enough, or we were happy enough that we managed to get the result, to win the penalty shootout. But definitely is something that as experience, you're never gonna forget it, because it takes you to such a level of pressure that I don't think that I'm not gonna feel anymore that kind of feeling, because it's a totally different style.
Well said, Lucho. Nigel, the floor is yours.
Lucho hit the nail on the head. You will never get that feeling again. And if you're on the losing side, like I was, that feeling never goes. It stays with you for the rest of your bloody life. Let people know that. And I'll say this now. No matter what they say about practicing and, these clubs go in, they practice, they're mentally ready. It's all cobblers. It's never the same as it is on game day. After playing 120 minutes worth of football, it's never the same. When you pick up that ball, that lonely walk to the goal just shrinks with every step you get there. Your legs are heavy, like you're wearing concrete boots. And it becomes the hardest thing in the world. People think, oh yeah, just smash it. But they're not realizing the fatigue and tiredness. And bear in mind, Lucho and I grew up in a generation of being box-to-box midfielders, where you had to be able to do everything. You didn't get the luxury of just sitting there for 90 plus minutes, or just attacking only for 90 plus minutes. But I'd say for me, we did it. I'm going to go to my under-21s experience when we lost to Holland. And that was when Drentner went to Real Madrid after that. Yeah. I scored every penalty every day in practice for leading up to this. Every penalty I scored, didn't miss one. So when it came to, I had to take one. By that time, my legs were absolutely knackered, and it was an awful penalty. But there was nothing I can do. I tried to put it in the corner, didn't get it far enough, and it hurt. And then the FA Cup final against Liverpool, other players scored all their practice penalties, and by that time, you had nothing to give. And obviously, we lost to Liverpool. But the experience you go through, you can never put it into words, Michael. And then when you miss, it's something that stays with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. No, it's the agony of being on that fine line between getting it right. I mean, it's only 12 yards between getting it right, being a hero, and being a scapegoat for your country. Nothing scapegoaty about the effort and the performances of this Japanese team. I look at the body language. That's one of the things I always see when even being on the field, or watching from your living room, watching from the stadium. When you look at the body language of the Japanese players, there just seemed to be this lack of confidence. I think of Yoshida going up. I think of a player who I thought he was going to be the person to unlock this Croatian backline in transition, Mitoma. They didn't look as confident, and the goalkeeper looked like a world beater, Dominik Livakovic. I mean, he equaled a record for saves from goalkeepers at the World Cup. 3 saves. Whenever you have 3 saves, let alone 2, you know you're going to win. And this Croatia team, they've been there, done that. in previous World Cups. They've been there, done that 4 years ago through penalty kicks. 1-2 was at the round of 16 against Denmark and the quarterfinals against Russia. And to do it without the likes of Luka Modric, Kramaric, Perisic, and Kovacic on the bench, that's the stuff that takes a lot of guts as a manager. And I've got to ask you guys this, just rounding out the PK conversation. Is there anything of going first or second? Do you prefer to go first or second from your personal experience? Does it give you an advantage? Nigel?
I think for me, I don't know what Lucho thinks. I think a lot of penalties, Mike, and this is my personal belief, I think a lot of penalties is based on confidence. It's confidence where it's borderline arrogance. You've got to have your most confident players take it because it's different, like I said, after you play a game. And when you said about the Japanese players missing, I said at the start of the game, remember, I said I didn't see them looking confident. I said they looked nervous at times at the start of the game. And like you said in their penalties, you can tell straight away they wanted to get it over and done with so quickly. The confidence, the lack of confidence thereof is the results of what happened. But I think that if you're going to have penalties, I would say I would rather go first. I think going first is probably the better thing than going second because when you go after, I feel there's a more pressure on you of expectancy to have to score. But when you go first, you're leading the way.
Yeah, definitely. I will go with that one. I will go to get it first and trying to take. You always have the chance of the penalty in case you miss that the keeper can save the second one and then you take the pressure out. Or if you put the goal in, the pressure is on the next player to take the penalty on the opponent. So I will like to go first. And I have to say that definitely when you manage to arrive to that situation, imagine the Japanese is the mentality of the Japanese people is totally different, like the Europeans or Latin American ones, and they are so disciplined, they are so straight, so honest in many occasions. And when they arrive there, they don't have that freedom sometimes that we feel that. And you said that arrogance that we have sometimes, and you need to have that kind of arrogance, that kind of I'm going here and this is my moment and I'm going to do it. They are so quiet. They are so it's different. It's a different mentality that they have. And when you arrive to that moment with that kind of pressure on you, knowing that it's been so difficult to arrive there and you have to score because if not, it's on you. That's your mistake. I think it was just too much. And the penalty is true that they were not the best penalties, but that is because that pressure that you feel, that kind of roller coaster of emotion that you are getting inside you. So yeah, it was sad to see them leave.
Just the entire neutral world watching this Japanese team, one of really the feel-good stories of this World Cup, to play the way they played, to top the group unexpectedly, to beat the likes of Spain, to beat the likes of Germany, to do it in the way they did without the ball, and to be undone by really the experience of this Croatia team that is not the sexiest team when you look at them on paper outside of their midfield and outside of that core group of World Cup stars from 2018. It's the cruelty of the game. Some of you chiming in, Matt Osmond, saying that those are some of the easiest PKs to save. Hey, you still got to save them at the end of the day. The pressure is there.